and a good namaste to one and all. Today we're talking about a very beautiful topic called Digbali. What does Digbali mean? Dig means direction, Bali means strength. So when a person has a strength, the person, as we know, is able to do a lot of work beyond the normal capacity. If a person has physical strength, he or she would be able to do physical work more than a person with a normal physical strength. If a person has greater financial strength, then the ability of that person to do things financially would be surpassed as compared to a common man. Similarly, when we're talking about a planet gets directional strength in a particular area, a planet gets directional strength in a particular zone. In such a case, this planet would be able to give a lot of good results in that area, and the person would benefit a lot. So let us see what the classics have to say for it. Digbali directional strength. So in Saravali, chapter number 4, shloka number 35, we get the details as to how or where a particular planet is getting a directional strength. When Jupiter or Mercury is in the ascendant, that is, they are placed in the east or in the first house. When Venus and Moon are placed in the fourth house, that is the north of the natural zodiac. Saturn is placed in the west, that is the seventh house of the natural zodiac, and it is placed in the seventh house for a person. And Mars and Sun are placed in the 10th house of the chart, which also happens to be the south of the natural zodiac, that is sign of Capricorn. In such a case, these respective planets are said to possess directional strength. If a planet is in exaltation sign, Mula Trikona sign, own house, friendly house, or if they find spot in the Navamsha and are aspected by benefics, it assumes strength. The Moon and Venus are strong in even rasis, but rest are strong only in odd rasis. This is a point for the positional strength. The positional strength is different from directional strength, but we should take that into account also. A planet with directional strength takes the native to a direction ruled by and gives jewels, conveyance, etc. And the native is happy in such a direction. This is from Saravali chapter 4, shloka number 36, and it continues further to a lot many more, but we will not be going into that. Cheshtabal, etc. we will go into in a later case. Clothes, we need to take into account Desh, Kal, Patra. What is important for today, what is very said to be very casual, say a very minimal 5 pair of slippers is something that most people will have in today's day and time. In 100 years ago, 5 pairs of slippers were not the norm of the day. Today, 50 pairs of slippers is the norm of the day. So we have to take into account Desh Kal Patra. So good Venus, a Digbali Venus, could provide one with 50 pairs of slippers. But that is probably the norm of the day. We take into account Bharti Singh's case. Bharti Singh is an Indian stand-up comedian and actress, and she started her career by becoming the second runner-up in the Indian stand-up comedy reality shows, The Great Indian Laughter Challenge. And coming from very humble beginnings, she made it to the top in a very male-dominated industry. She's made it right up there where very few can aspire to go. And she has shown the courage. She's shown the courage that in spite of her weight and in spite of her background, she has worked really hard and she's come up with a gutso. She is said to be weighty, and yet she's used it as an advantage, where she does make a lot of fun about her own self making others laugh about her weight, and yet garnering their respect, their love, their attention. And she is a very quick response kind of a person, and so she's made a name for herself in the industry. Let's take a look. The planet that is Digbali for her is Moon. Moon is the lord of the third house, and it's posited in the fourth house. This third house, we know, shows all the qualities that she has or she's been portraying, because she's a good orator, she's a quick thinker, she is courageous, and she has a good command over her language. She has the ability to come out, showcase her talents. And fourth house is the house of masses. It is the house of the moon, generally guarded by it. And for her, moon is sitting right there in the sign of the celebrityhood, which is Leo. Moon is also being aspected by retrograde Jupiter from the house of change and transformation. What more, she has been performing her stand-up acts over the years, and also has been nationally ranked in pistol shooting and archery. Again, the third house activities denoted by moon is very much into action. I take the case again here of Amy Enoch. Amy Enoch is a French actress who debuted in 1947. Just for records, I've put in two photographs of hers, that is one when she was a young lady and one of her olden days. She was said to be hauntingly beautiful, and her grace, her feline attributes were well known. It is said that she would have made a kind of a sensational debut in the film industry, French film industry, and that she did. She was the daughter of theatrical parents, and she made her debut a lasting one. I forgot to mention a point there, that too much of anything is not good. It's because they say in Sanskrit, ati sarvatra varjate. That is, it is always said that one should not have too much of anything. Why? Because Sita was very beautiful, Ravan was extremely proud, and when we come to the case of Bali Raja, that is the one who had to move into the Netherlands because of the Vamana in Vishnu avatar, because of his generosity. That is why they say that these very qualities, which were too much in them, were the reason for their downfall. So let us not have things in too many qualities. I tell you why I said this with respect to what. When we look at the chart of Amy, Anok Amy, we see that Jupiter is Digbali, because it's in the Lagna, and it's also exalted. Sun is Digbali because it's in the 10th house and it's also exalted. Saturn is Swahagrahi, and it is also in the 7th house, giving it Swahagrahi means in its own sign, and in the 7th house, making it extremely powerful, with so many powerful planets playing the roost, and moon is sitting in its own nakshatra, and it is the Lagna Lord with the 7th Lord, bound to take her places, bound to get her into the limelight. But when I said that, Saturn is also an 8th Lord of sustenance of marriage, and she had 4 divorces. So 4 marriages could not be sustained. Jupiter is also the Lord of the 6th house. So it would also give very strong results for the 6th house of divorce and fights. Sun is the Lord of the 2nd house, and so family was one thing that she was probably not getting, even if she craved for it. So we have to remember a point here, that sometimes being unanimous, sometimes not being on the center stage can be in our favor too. Sometimes center stage can be a little too frightening. We all would definitely want a planet or two being the Digbali for us, but not all of them. The next case that I take up is that of Adam Gilchrist, and coming from a nation of cricket lovers and cricket playing nation, one of the very, very admired personalities or admired cricketers of yesteryears was Adam Gilchrist. Adam Gilchrist is now a commentator, and he was a former captain also of Australian national cricket team. He was known for being an ace batsman and, and a wicket keeper. His style of wicket keeping was something to be inspired from, and he led the country to bring about a huge change in its batting style to move on to a very aggressive kind of a batting style. Widely regarded as the greatest wicketkeeper batsman in history of the game, Gilchrist held the world's record for most dismissals by a wicketkeeper in one-day internationals until it was surpassed by Kumar Sangakaraka in 2015. So, when we see this, let's move on to his chart. We see Mercury and Jupiter are sitting right there in his Lagna. Mercury is the lord of the 8th house of transformation, helping him bring about transformation for the country, the batting style, and the 11th lord of games, definitely earning him a huge friend circle and lots of money. Jupiter again is the 5th lord of Bhagya or celebrityhood and luck, and 2nd house of money, wealth. And then we have Saturn sitting right there in the 7th house and aspecting. There is an aspect of Jupiter and Saturn on each other, a direct aspect. This helps in cementing and giving him good administrative abilities and setting things forth. Saturn 7th house gives him the ability to stay put in the house, on the public platform, and create good results for it. Saturn is also the lord of the 3rd house of hands. So this gives him the ability, and Saturn is also aspected by Rahu. Saturn is retrograde, giving him an ability to develop a style of his own, which is definitely out of the box and not copied from anybody else. 4th lord of masses, Saturn, gives him a very strong magnetic pull that the masses were really hooked on to his style and watched him day in, day out. Finally, we come to the chart of Akshay Kumar. Akshay Kumar has one Digbala planet for him, and that is Sun. But this Sun is very strong in his chart because it sits in the 5th house of the natural zodiac as Leo. Sitting for him in his chart, it is sitting in the 10th house of being Digbala, and in its own house. What more? It sits in the Nakshatra of Venus, that is Purva Phalguni, and Venus is the 7th lord of public platform and the 12th lord of international fame. Venus here is also sitting with Sun. Akshay Kumar is known as being an Indian-born Canadian actor, producer, television personality, martial artist, stuntman, and philanthropist who works in Bollywood films. In a career spanning of 29 years, he's appeared in more than 100 movies, and his movies have been, earlier on, his movies were very much action-oriented, but as of now, his movies have taken a new turn, and they are really admired for the stance he takes on for being on a public platform, for bringing about public issues in the open, and being very prosaic about it, being very beautifully putting them across thousands across the nations. And he has also got the National Filmfare Award for his movies, and he's also got Filmfare Awards, which are a part. He's an extremely philanthropic person because Sun in the 5th house of the natural zodiac is also about generosity and magnanimity. So yes, a very philanthropic person who is the brand ambassador for Paralympics in India and is out there helping others for poor also. Anything that you know about this Indian, you would know that he has a lot in store for those people who are very much oriented towards working towards sports and games, because he is a martial artist himself and he's come a hard way right there from the martial art days, in his martial art days in Southeast Asia. And apart from that fact, his Jupiter is also exalted, so that also lends him a very lot of credibility in doing things for others, becoming more and more generous. Is the fifth house and the second lord, to giving him wealth and luck. The next question people would ask me is that if a planet is Digbali and yet they are debilitated, will it help? Well, let's take up the case of Mercury, which is debilitated in Pisces Lagna, but it is Digbali. There are two things that we need to take into account. Digbali and debilitation are two different concepts. And a planet, if it is Digbali, will give the results of Digbali, and at the same time, if it is debilitated, it will also give the effects of debilitation. How is it so? So that gets us into another concept, and that is known as Jad Chetan. What is Jad? Jad means something which is not living. Chetan means something which is living. So every house has a lot of karakas, significators, and these significators can be divided into three parts, but we are not going into the Mula part. We're talking about the Jad and the Chetan, that is the living and the non-living entity. The wealth is a non-living entity. Your name, fame are non-living entities. But your partners in life, your friends in life, your brothers, sisters, your relationships, they're all living and breathing. So these things make a lot of difference. This person, if he or she has a debilitated Jupiter, Mercury, and yet a Digbali Mercury, may prosper because of the seventh house, because it is the ruler of the seventh house of Pisces, of Virgo, and so this person will prosper in terms of a public platform, would be able to stand high, would be able to attract the masses, because again it's the ruler of the fourth house, but may have to face certain deficiencies as regarding the partners in life. It could also mean that the person could have less self-esteem, self-confidence, though the people may see him or her as an extremely confident and a viable person. Another thing that we may see is the person may have to stay away from mother for some time for education, because again, it's the fourth house of mother. It's a ruler of the fourth house of mother. Another example, good example, would be Saturn, which is debilitated for a Libra Lagna in the seventh house. Such a person can have a problem with their spouse, in the sense could not be getting attached with their spouse, and could have faced some problems, having to stay away from mother once again, could have certain issues with their children, but they would be very good luck-wise, lucky, because Saturn is the Yoga Karaka for the fourth and the fifth house. So they would get a lot of money, etc., or they could also get a lot of name, fame, and could do well in government sector, could do well on a public platform. Every planet, every single detail, all these things do make up for the bigger picture. So if you're able to understand these small things, chart reading becomes a lot easier. With that view in mind, we'll come across another beautiful topic. Till then, the next time, thank you, stay safe.